So I got one more question for you. What do you know about Salvador's emerald?
Oh my God, you have to bring it up.
Oh man.
It's all over the world, it's all over the internet about it. But what tell
The emerald. Salvador used to live out here and helped me a great deal with Goldfield. Great deal. He kept me balanced. When I was going crazy, I just talked to Salvador in the truck while we were driving, and it chilled me right out.
Awesome.
30-some years. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, some guy shows up from Colombia. He wasn't Colombian, he's American. But he goes down to Colombia and he buys emeralds and smuggles them out, I guess, right? Now, I never did no business with this guy. But he was told Salvador about this mine that he had been in just north of Phoenix. And there's a giant piece of Criscola in there. That's what he told us. And so Sal wanted to go look at it, and he kept bugging the guy, and finally the guy said that he would take us and show it to us. So it was kind of a hectic day that day because one of my partners, Jay Zingler, his father was coming into town, and we had to combine all of this. So he picked his father up at the airport, and we had this guy with us, Sal and me and Jay, and we picked up his dad, and from the airport we drove north our way. Anyway, there's a subdivision of houses here. You got to go through a gated community, and you work your way up through the streets, and there's a little cul-de-sac, and you drive off on a dirt road up behind this subdivision. And I'm going, weird, this is weird, you know. But we parked, and we walked about not even 300-400 feet.
Park next to it.
Yeah. And here's this mine entrance, but it's caved in, but there's a little hole you can go through to get in.
You get out of the truck.
And there was a pretty good sized dump there. It was a big flat area. That's where we parked. And I thought, man, this is a pretty good sized mine based on the dump. So we walked through the tunnel, in the tunnel, all the way, about 600 feet tunnel. Hell of a deal. I never believed it was there. We get to an intersection where there's a shaft that came through the tunnel from above. And sure as, I don't want to cuss in your video. Sure as there's a head frame on the mountain outside that would work the shaft. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I didn't see it when we first went, but after we left, I looked up there and there's an old wooden head frame. So now this part's all caved in up above. The part of the tunnel, the part of the shaft above the tunnel is all caved in and messed up, and all the timbers are broken, and it was scary. But going down, the shaft was open. So we went down, what would you say, about 100 feet? Down this old ladder.
That was the best part.
Down the old ladder, we get to a next level down, and there's a tunnel going off to, I'm gonna say, had to be the east. Went off to the east. And there's old ore chutes in there. Now, a lot of people ain't gonna understand what I'm talking about, an ore chute, but it's an area where they built wooden troughs to catch the ore, and the ore cars could go by, and they'd open doors and fill the ore cars. Now, these ore chutes normally are about 4 feet off the ground. We're on our bellies crawling under these things, and they're like right next to us. The floor had silted in, and we wiggled through there. We got to the other side of the ore chutes.
So this wall was right there?
And there was a little hole going up into the stope that they mined the ore out of that filled the ore chutes. And we got around that, and we worked our way up what I'm going to call the pile, all the ore that was piled against the ore chutes. We walked up that, and it's very loose. We you didn't want to disrupt anything because it plugged the hole you came in. We go work our way up to the top of the muck pile, and here is this rock. And this guy didn't go down there. He just told me and Sal where it was at, and we went down. He didn't want to go down.
And he'd seen it before?
Oh yeah, he's seen it before. You guys go. So this piece of Criscola is there. It's about 4 feet in diameter, and I'd say 8 feet tall. I don't know how deep it was into the muck pile, but here it is, this piece of Criscola. Unbelievable. So I looked around and I found another chunk that had broke off because this thing fell out of the roof and landed in the muck pile.
Oh.
The roof of the stope. And it was beautiful stuff. I'd have brought a piece with me. You show it to him? Yeah. So here's this piece. It's about 125 pound piece. And I said, Sal, we're taking this with us. And we very carefully got it back down to the tunnel and rolled it ahead of us back out underneath the ore chutes, got over the main shaft. I had the guys up above throw a rope down. We tied it, but the way the shaft was angled, I didn't want it to drag on the steps because it would have broke steps.
Oh.
So I'd go up 2 or 3 steps, and then I'd pick it up, and they'd take up the slack. And we did that and got it all the way out, got it to the top tunnel, and I'd carry it in as far as I could, and I'd set it down, and Sal would pick it up and carry it to get the 600 feet back to the truck. And we took that piece around, showed it around to some rock shops and stuff, and they loved it. They wanted to buy truckloads of it, right? Well, we
You wasn't gonna go back down there and get it, huh?
no, and there was no way to get that goddamn rock out of there the way things were. And if you tried to break it apart in there, and any of it at all fell in that hole, you're not gonna get it out. You know, you're not gonna get out. So I kind of said no. Salvador went back a couple times after me. Yeah. And he said that I never looked around the back side of it. But he says it was an emerald. There was emerald on the back side. Am I right? Am I telling that right? But all the side I saw was Criscola. And yeah, there was a lot of people wanted to buy it, $8 a pound, you know, but it wasn't worth your life.
Yeah.
So
the part you brought out wasn't part of the emerald? Okay.
No, it was a separate piece. I don't know exactly where it fell from, but it was good Criscola. We cut it and took it to 2 or 3 different rock shops, and they cut pieces off and polished them, and I mean, this was beautiful stuff. Very, very rich Criscola. But
Well, Bob, man, I thank you for your time. Thank you.
you're welcome. Glad to be a help.